Hello everyone, and thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Aubrey Strobel. I'm the former head of comms at Lolli. I've moved into an advisory role now, and I'm also now advising Trust Machines, which is creating the largest Bitcoin application system. So I'm thrilled to be speaking here today on one of my favorite topics, which is Bitcoin and branding. So let's just get into it. Is this working? Oh, it's not working down here. I had to put up one of my favorite quotes to kick this off. Satoshi, Bitcoin's first CMO, is saying, "If you don't believe it or don't get it, I don't have the time to try to convince you, sorry." One of my favorite quotes. Maybe not the best on the CMO side of things, but a hilarious quote to start it off with. And we've come quite a ways from Bitcoin's genesis in 2008 and 2009, Satoshi creating Bitcoin, the Bitcoin white paper, and the first Bitcoin logo, actually. And as time evolved, the logo expanded to look a little bit more like the MasterCard symbol with the slashes in it, introduced to the public domain. And today, Bitcoin is one of the largest, most widely recognized logos in the world. So this is like the state of the union of Bitcoin's marketing. It's mostly happening right now orchestrated by big exchange and startups and ecosystems, and modeled by companies that are accepting, transacting, paying their employees in Bitcoin, and even mining Bitcoin themselves. Most of the conversation is discourse between politicians and the media and athletes and celebrities, and this is how most people come to discover Bitcoin through the internet. And of course, Bitcoin Twitter. I mean, if it wasn't for Bitcoin Twitter, I think everyone in this room understands the power that Bitcoin Twitter has. I think back to last year when the infrastructure bill was introduced and there was a threat to taxing miners as brokers, and how quickly everyone mobilized to call their senators immediately. And while the bill was not voted down today, they are exempt from being taxed. So it just shows the power of what Bitcoin marketing through grassroots can do. Before anyone comes at me, Bitcoin does not need a marketing team. There's been a long debate about this. Bitcoin doesn't need anything. It will continue block by block. It does not need a marketing team. However, it does, and hopefully everyone in this room wants adoption of Bitcoin. So adoption requires a community of educators and builders who can shape the messaging that surrounds Bitcoin. Because if we don't shape the messaging, then the opposition gets to tell that story. And I don't think that's what we want. So it's two parts, in my opinion, as someone who has worked in this industry for the past 6 years. It is narrative building, and it's education. And that brings us to the best branding that we can provide Bitcoin. And so you might be asking yourself, so why is branding important for a decentralized currency? And you might know some of these lovely people on screen. These people, have put out some interesting thoughts on Bitcoin, mostly talking about energy consumption, totally wrong, talking about illicit use cases, you name it, and also for geopolitical issues in times of conflict and regulation. You see that with China, you see it recently with Canada, and then Russia and Ukraine. And a lot of times there isn't a crisis comms team for Bitcoin. When something comes out like this, it is on the community to dispel this narrative. Another one is financial literacy. Unfortunately, I wish people were more financially literate, but it's reported that 4 in 7 Americans can be actually categorized as financially literate in America. And there was another stat done by Gemini this year that said that 40% of people would be more inclined to invest in Bitcoin if they had more educational resources, opposed to being told by a friend that they should get involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So it's just showing how important resources are. And I think a lot of times in this industry, people say, do your own research, do your own research. It's like just beat into us. But there's a big responsibility, I believe, on companies to provide that research to the individuals. And then unlocking new commercial opportunities. Branding on Bitcoin unlocks a ton of opportunities. I don't think that everyone needs to know every single nuanced topic about Bitcoin to get involved. What investors and companies really want to know is that it works, it hasn't shut down, that it's not harmful to the environment, that they can gain exposure in a safe manner. And some case studies that I've personally seen as head of comms at Lolli is partnering with over 20 Fortune 500 companies. And these are direct partnerships. And a lot of times when we got started with Lolli, people didn't want to partner immediately because they were a little bit wary of Bitcoin. But when they didn't have to custody it, but still were able to provide their customers exposure to Bitcoin and taking those customers away from big conglomerates like Amazon, that was advantageous to them. Other things we saw this year were major stadium sponsorships from FTX, Coinbase, Crypto.com. There's no Staples Center anymore. That's crazy. Like, we've totally taken over. And then, a record-breaking amount of Super Bowl ads. This is kind of what this last year's looked like. It's kind of crazy when you look at it. Hopefully I'm not too much in the way. We got the infamous Coinbase ad that happened at the Super Bowl. We have Elon Musk adding Bitcoin to his Twitter, athletes asking to get paid in Bitcoin. And then we also have Senator Loomis here identifying as a pro-Bitcoin senator. There's been so much change in this past year. But Bitcoin is still a grassroots internet movement. And this is one of my favorite things about Bitcoin. An anon account on Twitter has almost as much power to create a viral meme that makes Tom Brady put laser eyes on Twitter as politicians and anything. You can really make things rise up. And there's this really interesting thing, and you see it with meme stocks, and you see it with various other investments, but Bitcoin being one of the biggest is like the memification of value. And I don't think we talk about this enough. If it goes, next slide. Go. Oh, I'm going to go back to memification, but how can we improve Bitcoin's brand and unlock new commercial opportunities? Number one, I think identity. Encouraging individuals and small businesses to use .btc domains. And I think this is something that ENS has done really well, but Bitcoin needs to move into. Creators should be wanting to accept and adopt Bitcoin. Did I skip the one? I had a great meme slide. Hold on. Dang it, it might have gone out. Dang it. Guys, I had a great meme slide in here. I don't know if it didn't make its way in, but I'm coining the term meme economics, and it was going to be a slide, but it wasn't in here. Anyways, so we'll just move on. Number two, having clear and effective communication that fuels mainstream adoption. And number three, highlighting that Bitcoin is multidimensional, and this is talking about Bitcoin NFTs, its freedom, its protest, its lifestyle, its art, its culture, and its free speech. And so today, we have with us Zuby, who we're going to talk about, who is a big advocate of free speech and Bitcoin, and we're going to bring him up here to have a few conversations on the social money